Last controversial topic is immunization.
Rogue. We're going rogue.
It's immunizations. So, as we know, there's a lot of people for them and against them. Some people say that they are, because there is a huge rise in delays, in developmental delays in children, speech delays, autism. It's very hidden. But it's starting to get uncovered little by little now, because there's a few companies that actually came out that there was research that was hidden away from people that they can factor into developmental delays as well as autism. So there's vaxxers and anti-vaxxers now. It's like a whole war out there anytime you bring up immunizations and vaccines for your children.
Yeah. No, I'm not an anti-vaxxer. I'm not. And I can't say that I am like a vaxxer, but I more lean towards that.
Towards vaxxer.
Than non-vaxxer. I think we give way too many vaccines and we start very early, and like they're just not developed enough to process a lot of these vaccines. However, I also don't want polio to come back.
But do you think that it would, being that it's eradicated?
No, obviously polio is eradicated, but measles, mumps, rubella, it comes back from time to time.
Yeah.
And I mean, one of my children had scarlet fever. Have you heard of scarlet fever?
I've heard of it. Was actually going around at one point,
yes,
a few years ago.
But they give you a vaccine for it.
Do they?
Yes.
Now?
I believe so. It's mixed with one of these other vaccines, is it not? I think it is.
Maybe.
With like chicken pox and all that.
Oh, the varicella?
The varicella. Yeah. So all of a sudden I wake up one day and her bottom it looks like snake skin with red, like crimson red. It was just so awful. And I take her to the doctor, and the doctor says, she has hand-mouth disease, Coxsackie. Like, okay. Go back home. He prescribes some ointment and whatever. Go back home. Nothing happens. It gets worse. It starts going down her legs, the back of her legs. Go back to the doctor. They give me another diagnosis. Go back home. It was only on the third try, going back to the doctor, that they're like, oh my God, this is scarlet fever. Why? Because it's just not around.
But she had the vaccine.
I don't think so, because she was home at the time. She wasn't,
but
she wasn't at the daycare.
But you still have to catch up to all the immunizations at one point, by the time they go to school.
Of course, but I delayed them.
Right, but she had it during the time that...
Of course she did.
Okay.
Of course she got it when she didn't have the vaccine.
My dad had one of them. I don't remember if it was mumps or rubella. One of them he had as a child. I don't know. I feel like it really depends.
If you get these diseases while you're a child, you're okay. But if, some of them lead to sterility.
Yeah.
And other complications in adults. Like chickenpox, right? Is it chickenpox?
I don't know. I had the chickenpox.
As a child?
Yeah.
We're talking about adults.
No, I know. I had hand-foot-mouth disease from my son. That was fun. I remember.
Yeah, but those you don't have a vaccine.
Yeah.
Again, do I think that we need to give our children Hep B shots right in the hospital, an hour after the baby's born? No. Do I think at some point during their, childhood they should get a vaccine? Yes.
Yeah. I think there's just too much.
It's better to have to make sure your child is healthy, and then start giving them vaccines than to just start giving them vaccines right away. Right. So that's why I can't say that I'm a complete vaxxer. I'm going to vaccinate my kid from everything in the world, exact 3 weeks apart.
Yeah.
But I can't say I'm an anti-vaxxer, because I do believe in vaccines, and I do believe that they help. But I do think that there has to be a lot more research done as to the age that we're supposed to give these vaccines.
Yeah, I feel like there's way too many. I think that all those doses are unnecessary, because there's research out that you could do if you do teeters on your child that received one dose of MMR. I think it's good until they're 12 in most people. And I think that after they receive, let's say, 1 dose of each, and again, it shouldn't be before the age of 2, they get like, 48 vaccines. It's insane. Why don't we test titers and see if the child still has immunity to that particular disease?
Well,
and
not 48 vaccines, 48 doses.
48 doses, right. You do like 3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
It's kind of if we go to what happened with the COVID vaccine.
Forget it.
I personally had to get it because it was like either that or lose my job. I got it. I got COVID 9 days later. Like light, it wasn't anything crazy, just like whatever. But 2 weeks, not even 2 weeks, a week and a half after I just recovered from COVID, I had to get my second dose or lose my job. And to me, it was like, and by the way, I got really sick from that second dose. I couldn't eat. I was vomiting. I couldn't get out of bed. And for like a week or 2 straight, I just was not myself. I felt like I was so groggy. I was like falling asleep. Right after I got it, like an hour afterwards, I knocked out. I barely woke up. And to me, it was like, why do I have to get it if I just had COVID? I have immunity. It's proven by the antibody tests that we were doing. So why would I have to get the second dose? And they were like, no, you have to get it. And like, lo and behold, what was it, like 10 days after everybody got their final dose, they dismissed it altogether. And I feel like but we're adults. I don't think that it was fine that it was done and it was like shoved down our throat like that.
For sure.
But I think that that's what they're doing with children. Because instead of checking their immunity, we're kind of not given a choice. You want your kid to go to school? Okay, this is what you have to do. You want your kid to go to daycare? This is what you have to do. And we don't really have much of a choice unless...
That's exactly what I said. That like you have to make sure your kid is healthy before you start pumping them with all these vaccines. So why not wait like 6 months? Before you give them that first vaccine. I mean, the first 6 months, you're already giving them, 12 doses?
Yeah. No, it's
something
crazy.
Like that?
And then, and so we're pumping them with all of it.
We're the only country in the world that has so many vaccines.
Yeah. Because I came here, I was 9.
And also, if polio is eradicated, why are we still vaccinated?
Right. Why?
It's just the easiest to go to. Everybody's always talking about polio. But then why do we need the vaccine?
Right.
If it's eradicated. I understand like the MMR, because the measles are coming back from time to time, rubella, mumps, whatever. Those are all.
How do we know they're not misdiagnosed measles? Are we testing these children? It could be hand, foot, mouth disease. I'm just saying.
No, listen, on the third time.
My thing is this, that I think there is now research out that there are children genetically who cannot handle certain immunizations because it is going to cause a delay. There's this research out readily available. Anybody who wants to check it out, just Google it. It's there. There's been so many researchers that have done this research that there's basically particular types of genes or alleles that are kind of deleted or a part of it is missing. And those specific children, after they get the MMR vaccine, start developing symptoms of autism. So, and I, by the way, was never a believer that the vaccines cause autism. I actually did a grad school research paper on it, on causes of autism.
They debunked that. The doctor that they sent to jail afterwards. The one that came up with the original study that, the MMR causes vaccine.
Right.
And everybody went crazy and started delaying the shots and not giving the shots, and all this craziness started going around. But then I think a good 5 or 6 years later, they said that, he had wrong research, he faked.
Of course.
The numbers and the MMR is
But that's all a controversial topic.
The MMR, but then they
but now they're coming
license away.
But now they're coming out.
And I think they might have given him some jail time, if I'm not mistaken.
But now there's research coming out that potentially, yes, it may be. So, again. But not specifically MMR vaccine alone. It could be a combination of vaccines, and that's something I feel like because the rates of autism are so high right now.
Yeah.
Right now, diagnosed is 1 in 36 children.
Yeah, I know.
That's a lot. And how many are not diagnosed? Because not everybody is officially diagnosing. Because you have to go to a developmental neurologist to get diagnosed.
Right.
In states where there is early intervention, those children are not getting a diagnosis until and even the school system can't officially diagnose you until the child is 5 at a turning 5 meeting. So that gap of 0 to 5 years old, those children are not even accounted in this statistic.
I think a lot of times maybe they're also mixed diagnosis, because I think like autism is it's a spectrum.
Yeah.
And a lot of the things that are, autism related, they're also related to other disorders.
Yes.
And they mimic certain disorders of autism.
Yes.
So it's so like quick to say, he's showing signs of autism, but it could be a whole array of other disorders
100%.
and symptoms, but because it's a spectrum, because it mimics a lot of other disorders.
Yeah.
And I don't think that we are anywhere close to being 100% accurate.
I don't think there's one thing that causes it.
What?
Autism.
Oh, right.
I don't think obviously it's not just vaccines. I think for some children, yes, it would make a difference. Not every,
but
I know
there has
children,
to be some underlying issue.
but
that triggered it.
I don't think it's the same for everyone. Like you said, it's a spectrum. There is proof showing that it could be genetic, like dating back even 5 generations.
But even if it's genetic, I'm saying like maybe this gene is not like a expressive expressive gene. So it's there. But then, like, you get a dose of vaccine and all of a sudden it blooms, right?
Exactly.
But it could be also that it bloomed through something else.
It could be.
Through some other exposure, maybe toxins in the food.
Yes. So that's another thing that right. So that's what I'm saying. So it's a spectrum. It might not be just that particular gene. It could be toxins in the food that are affecting somebody who, let's say specifically, who has a different type of gene that can process heavy metals.
Right.
And those heavy metals, even though the particles are so small, even if you test for it, it's not showing high levels of anything. It's just showing within the norm. But for that particular person, those small levels of these heavy metals are like just explosive to them to cause them. So yeah, it's not just like a one fits all, but I think like in order to find the root, why are we not, we do blood work. Why can't we do it at 1 year old? We're vaccinating 48 doses of vaccines to a child before they're 1. Why can't we take their blood and do a genetic
in the hospital
genetic testing of what we already know? There are certain genes that are
right healed. They take a little blood.
So we already know, as much as people don't maybe want to hear about it, there is research that's coming out that there are genes that do cause it. So why are we not specifically testing these babies to see if these genetic, all the babies that are born.
How do you
No, I'm talking about every single baby that's born. Since we are taking blood in the hospital, why not do a genetic test to see if this child has these things and maybe not give the Hep B vaccine right away. Maybe say, hey, you need to let's try a delayed schedule to see that these symptoms don't come out more. Because at the rate that we're going, we're going to have a generation of everyone on an autism spectrum.
Absolutely.
And then what happens? And it's great if a person has Asperger's and they're high functioning, it's fine. You sometimes can't even tell that a person has autism, but there's a high percent also of children who are moderate to severe. And then from there, to get them to a point of normality, it takes so much, and a lot of the resources are being cut now for families. So what do you do?
Some families don't even have resources.
Right. And I'm saying like even state resources, state funded programs are starting to get shut down little by little. They're taking things away. And what are families supposed to do? And then if your child is not getting this intervention and this help, they're going to be stuck kind of forever, because there's not going to be a miracle unless a miracle cure does come out like
but
that.
They're not even working on a cure right now. They're still trying to.
But there is that medicine.
No, I know, but I'm saying like generally and like as a big topic, they're not even working on a cure. It's not like a mainstream. It's not a mainstream.
It's not mainstream, no.
It's very like hidden. It's very under the table kind of like, oh, did you hear about this? It's you can't go to the pharmacy. You
can, because now it was published in the New York Post about the medicine that
I don't know.
For speech. Right, it's for autism, specifically for nonverbal children who are missing the MTHFR gene. This particular medicine is within days.
Specific thing
right, so you have to test for it.
Right, I'm talking about like.
But because but there is no general, because it's such a spectrum now. They can't have a general solution to a problem that could have 100 different causes. You know what I'm saying? So you have to look at it from an individual to individual perspective. Like when I took my son to a pediatrician who actually knew about autism, we started already detoxing B12, and I did see changes in him. And even though his blood work showed normal levels of everything, there was things, vitamin D was low. Vitamin D is important for the absorption of certain vitamins that in children with autism specifically, a lot of them cannot hold nutrition well, and a lot of them are picky eaters, so they're not getting that nutrition.
Right. But are they picky eaters because they don't like
sensory?
The texture?
I think it could be, it's not just that it's sensory,
it's taste, the sensory, it's sensory.
My son doesn't want to try anything new. The only time he will try new things is in a restaurant. Like he had like really random fried calamari. Like I was like, I never thought he would eat it, but he ate it. Like when he's out, he'll try things here and there. But at home, like very limited, to where like you have to get creative to get things inside of him. But I do supplement with vitamins, with like probiotics and everything of that sort, because he goes through periods. He'll eat this for one day, for 1 week, then he doesn't want to eat it again. The only thing that's consistent is oatmeal.
So this is like the diet, the diabetes shot, that now it's a big diet thing. This is the same thing.
Yeah, so it's like basically, yeah.
So they didn't develop this, they just found
they didn't help that it. So there was this one doctor.
Yes, but they didn't do research.
There was no research.
Specific.
No.
This.
No, they're not doing research for it. It was a
doctor. That's
doctor.
what I'm telling you. That they are so
prepared,
and they're not doing the right type of research, and they're putting in all these things that mimic autism, and hope it's like shooting in the dark.
Yeah. So
like they came up, luckily, whoever came up with this took this medicine, whatever this is, that was for cancer, for vomiting, and whatever else, applied it to this case, and it took off. But they're not this is a cancer drug. Like, this is drug developed for cancer. Is there a drug that's developed for autism? No.
So this was so it came out actually into New York Post. It was Dr. Richard Fry.
And that's my problem.
Because this is actually folinic acid is the main component. So
they've been talking about folinic acid for autism.
But it's not but it's nowhere readily available. The only way, I even tried to search for vitamins that are sold in Europe. Specifically, they're called like Autism Something Care. And they have basically the same ingredients as leucovorin does. And it's nowhere to be found in America. So it's amazing that something that potentially could have an effect and help so many people is just not even talked about or researched. So this doctor did this test, like, because obviously finding that these ingredients are actually improving symptoms of autism in other countries.
Right.
And he tested it on a child who was nonverbal, 3.5 years old. The kid spoke within 3 days of taking this medication, started saying their first words. But obviously you have to, it's not just like, let me run to the pharmacy and get the medication. Right. You have to do the blood work to see that this specific medicine may potentially help your child.
Exactly. So that's my whole problem, is that they're not doing enough research.
No.
To help. Meanwhile, they're doing all these vaccines, and they're not even doing the enough research on these vaccines. Yeah. And then we have a whole bunch of problems.
Yes.
But you can't not do the vaccines. And you can't do the vaccine. You're like kind of like in limbo all over the place.
Yeah.
And I think that it's just they're too young to be vaccinated the minute after they're born, without, like you said, the proper blood work.
Yeah.
If we had the proper blood work for all the infants that are born, and sure, but we could say like, okay, maybe we can give this vaccine today, but then this vaccine when their immune develops a little bit, or this develops a little bit, or that, or whatever.
Yeah.
What, like, all we're doing is like, we're just shooting.
We're testing. We're experimenting on children, essentially.
And going back to your COVID thing, I had COVID after my vaccine. My first dose really didn't do anything, meaning like I wasn't sick, I wasn't anything. My second dose, sick, 3 days, out. Out. After that, I got COVID 3 times. Mm-hmm. So I don't know what vaccine helped me and how it helped me.
Yeah.
3 times. And 2 out of the 3 times, bad. Bad. All the symptoms. No taste, no smell, fever, sleeping all the time, not being able to get out of bed. Like, I had them all.
Yeah. Well, it's like the flu
After
vaccine.
vaccination.
But that's like the flu vaccine.
I don't get flu vaccine.
Shooting in the dark.
I
But the children have to get it.
I don't give my children flu vaccines.
Well, but yeah, no, I think that you know what it is with the vaccines too. You know what?
You're going rogue.
But you know what it is with vaccines too. With vaccines, it's like when they give the vaccine to the baby, look out for symptoms of this, and that. It could be an allergic reaction. We have allergy tests that we do. Why can't we do the same allergy test on the child prior to fully injecting
They're
him?
inconclusive, though.
The allergy test?
Yeah, a lot of people say
I did
allergy test.
I had to do it when I was pregnant. I was allergic to cockroach dander. I didn't even know they had a dander. Yes.
What is that?
I don't know. I was like, everything. Like, I guess if there's like an infestation.
Cockroach pollen?
I have no idea. They have dander apparently, and I was like, really? So like, basically, I don't know what that is because luckily, is there wood? I did not have ever an infestation of roaches, but I think that if something is like really bad infested, maybe the shells that fall off of, I don't know.
Stop it.
Gross. But that's what I'm allergic to. So basically, if I walk into your house and I get itchy, you have an infestation.
You have cockroaches.
You have cockroaches.
Stop. Anyway, I think that this topic we're going to keep coming back to. We're also going to get more people to come chime in.
Yes.
But it's just it's a never ending.
Yeah.
It's just never ending. I don't think they're doing enough anything.
I agree.
I don't think they're doing enough research. I don't think they're doing enough prevention. I don't think they're doing enough genetic.
They're doing a lot of censorship. There's a lot of censorship, though, on these independent doctors who are coming out with this research. And that's what, I think that, everything new that comes out and I hear about, I'm like, I want to try it.
Well, maybe you shouldn't try everything new either that comes out.
No, I'm talking about for autism.
No, I know, but
well, under supervision of a doctor, not on my own.
Right, but these doctors that are willing to try all these new things that are coming out, they're also very far and few in between.
Yeah, I know.
This is not a general doctor.
I know.
You have to really go and find this doctor.
Yes.
It's like the Chinese medicine man.
I found him.
No, I know. I get it. I also found one, but they're you really have to go and look for one. Everybody wants mainstream Western medicine, and that's it. And then you'll get medicine that's supposed to treat cancer, but you treat something else.
Yeah.